The very first mindfulness and loving awareness practices are trainings in non-harming. And one sets an inner intention to not bring harm to other beings, reminded that this is possible for us as a way to live. And that includes ourself. So there are practices of gratitude, there are practices of reverence for life. May I meet each being with respect. And when you take a vow, or when you recite this, or you undertake this as part of my mindfulness and compassion training, that I will be compassionate to others and myself because human life is hard. It changes everything. In the trainings I had in this monastery, you didn't want to hurt even the littlest creatures. And your whole consciousness changed because you could feel the web of life. Poem from Lloyd Reynolds, who was the greatest American calligrapher. He was a teacher of Steve Jobs, kind of that fantastic aesthetic. He writes, "A bug crawls over the paper. Leave him be. We need all the readers we can get," right? And there's just something in it about a reverence for life that is the beginning of the training in compassion, of not harming. Basically, it's hard to sit and meditate after a day of killing and stealing. It just doesn't work. It's rather upsetting to the heart and the psyche. So you say, if you want to learn how to be wise and present, first step is attention to not harm yourself and not harm others. And the not harming yourself is equally important, because I get people, who are using, who are cutting, who are doing all kinds of self-destructive things, because that's the only way they can tolerate their pain, basically, And so it's not judging, but rather it becomes an invitation in working with people. Does this lead to happiness or to suffering? What would the wisest and most caring figure want for you as a teenager, as a human being? And all of it underlying is to hold the vulnerability, the hurt, the pains, the confusion in compassion and not harming. And the beautiful thing is that compassion is natural and it can be strengthened. But it's there in us. And the studies, from infant studies at Yale to studies of rats at University of Chicago, where if there's a rat trapped in a very tight cage and can't get out, and there's a free roaming rat, and they give it some chocolate chips, favorite of rats, and there's a lever that the rat can learn to press to release the squealing rat that's uncomfortable, that when they find out they can do it, they always do it, and they save chocolate chips for them. I mean, if rats can do it, come on,